Hey guys, Kevin Deutsch here to tell you about a couple of my favorite books that I reread recently. One of them is called When General Grant Expelled the Jews. This is about a little discussed period in American history, an incident in which General Grant, who of course led the Union forces during the Civil War, expelled all American Jews from areas controlled by Union forces during the Civil War. This happened in December 1862 without the knowledge of President Lincoln. General Grant took this action unilaterally without the president's knowledge, alleging that black market profiteering was hurting the Union cause, and he blamed this on Jews, which of course played into false anti-Semitic tropes and rumors which had plagued Jews for literally thousands of years. There's no evidence of that at all, but this rumor had taken hold, and General Grant took action, and the order, when President Lincoln found out about it, was immediately rescinded. President Lincoln was outraged. Now, this would become a major issue in 1868 when General Grant ran for president. Of course, he eventually won that race, but during the race, there was really, for the first time, the media began talking about the issue of how General Grant had issued this order to expel the Jews from Union territories, and how Jews felt about it, and the way that it had contradicted American values and democracy and the Constitution, of course. That freedom of religion is what drew Jews to America from across the world, where they were being persecuted and murdered simply for being Jewish. During the presidential race, there were 150,000 Jews in America, approximately. And for the first time, they really were able to make their political voices heard in a significant way, and express how they'd been hurt by General Grant's orders, and how they wanted to, how much they loved America, and that they were just as patriotic as any other American-loving patriot. Grant apologized for taking the order that he did in 1862. By all accounts, his apology was sincere. He talked to many Jewish Americans and expressed his regret. When he won the presidency, he was the first president to appoint Jews to high offices in his administration, and really broke a lot of ground for Jewish rights and Jewish representation. Even Lincoln hadn't had that kind of Jewish involvement in his administration. Also visited Israel, and really demonstrated a significant and profound connection to the Jews of America and global Jewry, not just politically, but spiritually. So this book by Jonathan Sarna is a fascinating study of that little discussed period in American history. Sarna is a great Jewish historian. I highly recommend this book. Second book I want to recommend is The New American Antisemitism by Benjamin Ginsberg. This is a book that I recently wrote about for the St. Louis Jewish Light. I did a Q&A with the author. This book is really timely because the new American anti-Semitism that Benjamin Ginsberg talks about is anti-Semitism from the left, the American left. Traditionally, historically in America, the major anti-Semitic threat for Jews has been seen from the right, from right-wing parties, and that's been a historical pattern from Europe with the right-wing Nazi Party, to fascist under Benito Mussolini, the right-wing Italian fascists, and many other, countless other right-wing regimes. Putin is a great example of that now, a conservative right-wing ideologue who uses anti-Semitism to demonize Jews and therefore distract from his own authoritarianism and murderous regime. Ginsberg argues that the most significant anti-Semitism today is coming from the left. And this is something that Ginsberg argues is visible on our college campuses today, which are largely made up of students who identify with liberal politics and liberal policies. On a lot of campuses today, you see kids openly espousing anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, arguing for the destruction of Israel, and really citing misinformation and disinformation about Israel concerning their conflict with the Palestinians and the history of Israel. In a number of cases, universities have been found to have discriminated against Jewish faculty and students. and a host of them are under investigation right now by the Department of Justice, which enforces civil rights laws. And Jews, of course, are protected as a protected class under civil rights laws. How do you address the issue of the new anti-Semitism on the left? Well, Ginsburg argues that one way American Jews can do that is to align themselves more closely with Christian Zionists, right? So we know that many Christians in America, particularly evangelical Christians, support Israel. And while American Jews have often been hesitant to align with them because they think that in many cases they only support Israel because they believe that it plays a crucial role in the second coming and other events that are part of Christian theology, rather than legitimate support for Jewish people and the Jewish state. Argues that we should embrace that alignment and allyship more closely, especially as anti-Semitism has exploded since October 7th in America, on college campuses, and particularly in left-wing politics in a way that we hadn't previously, and that's really considered a major threat to American Jews today. And Ginsburg argues that we need all the allies we can get in the Jewish community, and that Christians should be welcomed as allies rather than disparaged for their offers of support and allyship. So I really encourage you guys, if you're interested in Jewish history and current affairs, to read both these books, When General Grant Expelled the Jews by Jonathan Sarna and The New American Anti-Semitism by Benjamin Ginsburg. And if you're interested in my own work, I wrote 2 books called The Triangle, A Year on the Ground with New York's Bloods and Crips, as well as Pill City, How 2 Honor Roll Students Foiled the Feds and Built a Drug Empire. You can also check out my Substack at After October 7th, and you can find me on social media at Kevin Deutsch Journalist or on X at Pill City Book. Thanks, guys.